Hello and welcome to Budget with Brian, and today we're going to have a look at something a little bit off-brand for the channel, but I think a worthy video nonetheless. What I have here in front of me is a FitcamX, which is a dash cam for a car. This particular one will fit an Audi A5 2018, and what's very particular about this brand is when you fit this, it isn't just a block or a camera that sticks to the window. This will look OEM when it is installed. So first thing I'm going to do is unbox it, and then we're going to go to the car and we're going to fit it. So the package itself comes shipped directly from China. You know, they've got international websites. I'm here in the UK, and this was shipped just like you might buy something from AliExpress directly to me. Now, actually, there are some AliExpress type listings for very, very similar cameras to this. I didn't find that the pricing was terribly advantageous, so I went with this with the expectation of better support and maybe less spyware in the software that comes with the camera. So it comes sealed, so we're going to break the seal together. Oops, there we go. And then we're going to open it up. Now, I went for just the single front camera. You can get a you can get a dual camera version of this for front and rear. But here we are. So in the box we have, sorry, this isn't very interesting at this stage. Okay, here we go. So first of all, we get a little thing about getting supported. That's good. We've got a little paper document here which is showing how to attach this. So this particular one replaces a little piece of plastic trim that goes around the rear view mirror, and hopefully when we see this, you'll get a bit more of an idea about why I went for this one. Now, the specs themselves, I think there are better cameras out there, but I wanted one that just looks like it was originally part of the car. So this is how it comes. As I say, this part replaces a part that I'm going to take off the car, and then it, literally just clips in, and very, very nicely and very, very neatly. It plugs in line with a wiring harness that's already in place, so you don't even have to wire the thing in, and it will just look super neat and super OEM. So that's the camera itself. They ship it with an SD card. I can't remember how big that one is. I think it's about 64 gig. Actually, in fact, let's press the button and have a look. What is it saying? It's 64 gig. There we are, and it's branded FitcamX on there. Okay, so that's the camera, and then I should imagine the accessories are not very exciting. Yeah, so we get a spludging tool, a tool for popping that piece of trim off, and yeah, we get a nice little SD card reader for looking at your footage if you should need it. I hope I never have to use it, but I just thought, to be honest, I thought I'd buy this really as just a little geeky gift for myself. On Black Friday, I got 20% off during the Black Friday event, and yeah, there it is. So the next thing we're going to do is go to the car, and we'll have a go at fitting this, which I'm hoping will be a very simple event. Here we are in my Audi, and this is the part here that comes off that you replace, and I'm hoping that I've ordered the right one. There's several versions from sort of A all the way up to sort of F, and as I say, it kind of, do you see, it just sort of replaces that part, and then the wiring looms there. That's the inside of the camera there. There's not a lot to it, as you can imagine. You know, think of the size of a GoPro or something like that. You can fit quite a lot of technology in a small space. So but yeah, I mean, the real feature here is the plastic casing, which you know, I'm sure it's a relatively inexpensive camera inside, but all of the money that you're paying for is this plastic molded part, and then obviously the wiring loom that just seamlessly connects in. So first job is to get this off. I'm not quite sure how that is supposed to come off. We may have to read the manual. So the first part wasn't too difficult. You have to take off 3 parts. So this bit here, there's the middle bit in there, and then this front part. So it all comes off, and then the cables are in here. So I used the supplied tool. You just literally get it in there and hoik it off. It does come unclipped quite easily, and ultimately it just comes out like that. So nice and simple, really. So the next part is this piece here, and then the piece at the front. Now, unfortunately, in taking the middle part out, we did manage to break off a little piece here. I think that's going to glue with some mitre bond quite successfully. So we'll get that glued up in a minute, and while we're doing the rest of it, that can dry and cure. I don't think it's going to be a problem. There's so much support around this piece that I don't think the fact that it's missing will cause a rattle or anything like that. Yeah, that's bad design really on Audi, because that is quite a long piece that that can very easily break. But yeah, I was kind of expecting there would be some damage in doing something like this, especially if you don't know how things go together. I wasn't even that brutal with it. I just heard this sort of click as I was sort of anyway. Last piece here to take off, which is almost off actually anyway. We can see if we can get that off. No, I need 2 hands. I'll do it with 2 hands. Sadly, more casualties. 2 little pieces there, which are on, ooh, where is it? On the front part. So I think we're going to have less luck with gluing those. And ultimately, do you know what? It might be that I'll need to buy this as a spare part if this doesn't hold together well after I fit it. Oh dear. So there's the wiring loom all connected up. It's the top connector. There's 2 there. It's the smaller top connector one. They are keyed, so you shouldn't be able to get that the wrong way round. I found it difficult to get that in initially, but then I found that I'd got the connector upside down, despite there would appear there's a changing wire colour, and I just naturally assumed that red would go to red, but in this case they seem to have flipped it upside down and they're using red for another colour. Yeah, don't really like that, but there you are. So the next part is this. Should clip onto here. I'm not going to do it on the camera because it's, you know, I do need 2 hands and, you know, stuff. Okay, so that ended up being a little bit fiddly. I think the main reason is the little wire here needs to come out at a very particular place. If you get it caught underneath here, then you can't get the camera to come up and click into place, but it does click into place, and I have to say it looks pretty smart. That is in its final position. There's nowhere further up to go. It's right up on this section here, and when you've got it right, There is no force required whatsoever. It just slides up and clicks. So if you're having difficulty and you're thinking, oh, I need to put a bit more pressure, don't, you've got it wrong. So yeah, so that's that part. Now I just need this middle part to go back on, but the glue needs to set off on the bits I broke off. Okay, so I've glued this part back in with some mitre bond. Not looking too pretty down there, but I have to say that is pretty sturdy. I'm putting quite a bit of flex on that. That looks pretty good. I doubt it's glued in the right place. It kind of looks right, but it's just a bit twisted or something. I think that's going to fracture again when I put it in, but we'll try. The two little lugs that were on the corners here, tried to get those on, but I was on a bit of a hiding to nowhere on that one. Now the product I've actually used is this Mitre System Bondit Glue Monster, and yeah, I bought like I think a pack of 4 or 6 or something, which worked out to be something like these were only like a couple of pounds each on Amazon. I will link to where you can get this below. It's not really what this is about, but that is the best mitre bond that I've come across, and it was cheap. Okay, I've got that on to a pretty close position. Those 2 clips really would have been useful to have just pulled that in this way. I'm hoping this back part, it will just push it forward, and that would be fine. Getting this on has been the most fiddliest bit. It's mainly because you need to be, aware of a bit of cable management. It is on there. I'm going to try and get this rear section on, which is the last part, and hopefully that will just push that forward. And I'm really hoping it doesn't squeak. Okay, that last piece was the absolute easiest part to get on. It was also the easiest part to get off. It has pushed up a little bit here. I think I can probably manipulate this a little better to close that gap up if I was really bothered by it. I mean, it's not something you really see getting in and out of the car. Yes, if those clips had been intact, that would have been great. I suspect many people snap those, getting that part in and out. It's the way it's designed is very, very brittle. It's not got any strength in it whatsoever. But there we are. So the only thing to do now is actually use it. Oh, no, wait. We can take the blue bit off. Now it's done. So I've just driven and I was really a little bit distracted by the activity light. Of course, it's dark. I couldn't work out where it was coming from, but it was clearly new. Now, on the camera, it shows really quite bright, but in reality, it's a little bit dimmer than that. Obviously, this is easily fixed with a little, I don't know, sticker or a little bit of tape or something like that to go over the... This is the recording LED. It's coming from the bottom of the camera. I'm assuming there's other lights as well that are there, but that's what it is. So just so you know, that's what it does.
I'm pretty happy about how the install's gone, but I think there is a specific order in which you're supposed to take the original housing parts off, and I think you're really supposed to take the rear part off first, then the very front part, and then that middle bit comes off a lot easier, and possibly without you breaking the clips. The picture I'm showing you here just shows a few variations of the rear view mirror. Now for my car that was a type A, but you can see that there's a few different types across the different models. And indeed, if you email their support email address with photographs of your rear view mirror, they can identify which part you need, and then you can go and buy it. I've reviewed some of the footage that you get from the camera. It seems perfectly acceptable to me. Again, I'm pretty certain that there are better cameras available on the market, but this one, it certainly fits the best for an OEM look. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it. The app looks pretty good. It doesn't have too many features or settings in it. It will record sound, but I've turned that off. And you're able to change the resolution, etc. So thanks again for watching Budget with Brian, and don't forget to subscribe!